Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Our first story is about Crazy Karen. Imagine some part-time minimum wage job killing your future dreams because some a-hole woman wanted free food and servicing. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. You won't come into my apartment to serve my pizza? I'm calling the cops. My friend Adam was sharing stories, and he had this gem. Back in the mid-90s, he was a young college student. Because he was strapped for cash, he took a job as a server/cook/delivery driver for a mom-and-pop pizza restaurant. Most of the people he interacted with were great, but then there was Karen. It's a weeknight during the final semester of his senior year, so it's pretty dead. A standard order for a large cheese pizza and breadsticks comes in. Because Adam's the only driver on duty that night, he gets sent to deliver to the Dragon Karen and her offspring. Adam arrives and immediately gets a strange feeling in his gut. The complex is run down and looks shady as hell, just wanting to deliver and get out of there. He passed a CCTV camera and heads to the address. He hears the gaggle of children running around and screaming and hoped that was a good sign. Surely nobody would dare do anything stupid around their own children, right? He knocks on the door and our Karen answers. Looking over her shoulder, Adam can see that the apartment is small but clean and well-kept. Well, as well-kept as having a bunch of children running amok under your feet can cause. Hi, did you order a... Adam said. Karen grabs his arm and begins to pull him into the apartment. Finally, it's about time you got here. Adam wriggles his way out of her grasp and, backing up a couple of feet, says, Whoa, 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 whoa. Back up. What are you doing? You're delivering my pizza, right? Karen said. Yeah, Adam said. You're going to service. I'm a single mother with 3 children, so I need all the help I can get. The strange feeling in Adam's gut got stronger. I'm afraid I need to get back to the restaurant. I'm the only driver on duty. They can wait. Now get in here before the pizza gets cold. Karen reaches out her clawed hand to grab Adam. She looked at him like he was a hungry shark and Adam was a wounded seal. Adam drops the boxes and runs out of there, not wanting to get dragged by Karen into her den. She yells at him, Get back here! As he didn't have a cell phone, he rushes back and tells the owner what happened. The owner made sure Adam was okay and told him not to worry about it. Adam forgot about the experience until a couple of days later. He was busy cutting and boxing pizzas when the owner comes up and says, Adam, there's a couple of cops here to see you. A bit worried, Adam comes up and sees a couple of detectives, their badges visible. They introduce themselves and ask if they can speak. Adam says, sure. And they go to an unused booth. They ask Adam if he had delivered a pizza to a particular address a couple of days ago. Adam says, I did. Why? What's going on? The older of the two reveals that Karen had reported that Adam had tried to assault her children. Now Adam's really nervous. At the time, he was applying to be a police officer, a dream he's had since he was a little boy. He knew that any allegations of any type would be a black mark against him. The detective, apparently noticing Adam's nervousness, softens and asks, What happened, son? Adam told them about the delivery and how Karen had tried to drag him into the apartment to serve the pizzas to them, how he dropped the boxes and took off. He also told them the owner knew about the situation. When he finished, the two detectives looked at each other, nod, and then looked back at Adam. Adam at this point is sweating bullets. The older detective smiles and says, You're okay, son. We know you're telling the truth. Adam gets confused, and that's when the detective explained this wasn't Karen's first report to police about a delivery driver trying to assault her children. This, coupled with the inconsistencies in her story and the CCTV footage catching the whole event, made them suspicious. They just wanted to get Adam's version of events before proceeding to the next steps, whatever that would be. Adam told me he was glad he was sitting down because his knees gave out. The detectives got his contact information, thanked him for his time, and went on their way. Karen's name and address was added to the blacklist as a result of her little stunt. My guess, Karen was going to try to blackmail the poor guys by saying they did try to assault her kids, but would keep quiet for money. And our second story. My neighbors kept accessing the pond and park area on my lot. I recently bought a house, as the title says. The property that I purchased is on just about 3 acres. The house sits up on a hill at the far end, and then I have a small wooded area that slopes down to an open spot with a small pond. I put a lot of work into cleaning up the area around the pond and making it presentable again, as unfortunately the couple I bought from had fallen behind on maintenance. I added a fire pit and seating area, a sandy beach on one side of the water, and some general landscaping, including additional trees and a hedge along the property line. As I worked on this project over the summer, my neighbors who border the lot line by the pond kept popping over to chat and to tell me how nice it was that I was making the area usable again and how they appreciate my efforts, so on and so forth. I'm not the biggest fan of people just walking into my yard, as my dog, a German Shepherd, can be a little protective of me, but I figured they were just being friendly and left it at that. Unfortunately, I found out their enthusiasm wasn't just a result of friendliness and a welcome to the neighborhood attitude. Within a few weeks of getting the area presentable again, I stepped out on my porch to see that not only were my neighbors hosting a barbecue, but their party was extending onto my property and around my pond. Not just a wayward guest a little over the lot line, but literally people sitting on my benches and throwing food scraps in the water for the couple of ducks that hang out there. I walked down with my dog and explained to these folks that the little shepherd's invisible fence runs just inside the lot line, pointed out where the lot line was, and asked if they wouldn't mind heading back outside of it so I could leave my dog out for a while. One person commented, "It's okay, the dog doesn't bother us," and another said something like, "Oh, I thought we were going to get the fire going," but they did leave the property. When I saw my neighbors out the next day, I walked over and asked if they could please let their guests know where the property line is. I even offered to post a sign, like I have facing the street, alerting to the fact that there's a dog on the property behind an invisible fence. They were perfectly friendly about me confronting them, but didn't apologize or seem like they were truly acknowledging my concern so much as they were just nodding along. A week or so later, I let my dog out and he immediately races down the hill. I see kids down at the pond, so I call my dog and go down there and ask that the kids please leave my property. I was nice. I'm not that neighbor. They weren't rude, but responded with, "Oh, it's okay. Grandma knows we're here, and we have permission to play here. It's okay." I explained that I had just purchased the house, assuming that they meant the previous owners were the ones who'd given them permission, and that I really couldn't have people just walking in and out of my yard. If they want to feed the ducks, they'd have to come to the front and ask first. They seemed a little confused, but wandered back through the hedge to the neighbors. This time I called the neighbors. I reiterated my position. They said my dog likes their grandkids. My dog loves kids. That part's true. The kids throw him snacks, so they're comfortable with them being around the dog. I'm like, what am I even hearing here? I realized I was going to have to get downright blunt and said that the brass tacks of the matter is simply I do not want people on my property without my permission, period. They tried to tell me that in the past my pond was a neighborhood common area, to which I replied that was in the past. Moving forward, I wanted to keep my lot private. Unfortunately, the intrusions keep happening. Even though I don't see people out there when I'm home, I see footprints in the sand. Just occasionally, pretty much every time I leave, I put up an actual physical fence and am having security cameras put up at the end of the week. When I engage the neighbors about their friends and family, they just shrug it off as if they're not sure who I'm talking about and as if they can't be expected to police other people. I don't want to be that person who's running to the police complaining about what adults really should be able to handle on their own, but this is getting to that point. And our last story. Give me your house. A little context. My family's a pretty well-off family. My mom and dad have garnered money and land for their business and were able to send me and my two siblings to a local international school. The majority of the land they bought were in my mother's name because of a stupid reason totally unrelated to this story. Remember this point. My mom, however, passed away with a brain tumor before I could even finish high school 5 years ago, but to this day I'm still affected by that event. Before she passed away, Dad felt that something around the conflicts regarding inheritance would occur, so he tries to clear everything, even visiting the land registry every day for a whole month and transferring the inheritance into the name of him, me, and my siblings. Now, as you all probably know, where there's a lot of inheritance involved, your family's about to get busy. Enter entitled grandma, e.g., my deceased mom's mother. There weren't really any issues to begin with. My dad promised to let E.G. stay in the home he and my mom built. the home was registered in my dad's name, he even provided her a monthly payment of approximately $650. Might not sound like much, but in my country, that was enough to live comfortably, considering she isn't responsible for rent and other bills. Everything, apart from some minor stupid inheritance claims here and there, seems fine for about 3 years. The 4th year is when crap goes down. Around that time, I was doing a master's degree in the UK, which I recently just graduated at the time of this post. My sister's doing an undergraduate in Australia, and my younger brother's about to graduate high school, as it's always been both my parents' goal to send us abroad for education. You can pretty much guess the financial burden my dad has now. EG, however, decides it's none of her concern and decides to sue. Apparently, according to the lawsuit document, she's entitled to all the land that's registered in my mom's name prior to her signing it off. The house my dad is letting her live in, along with other stuff worth over millions in US dollars. You might be thinking, WTF, but didn't your mom sign the inheritance document? This is where it gets more effed up. Despite my dad sending my mom to be treated in one of the best and most expensive private hospitals in the country and splurging nearly $1 million in medical treatment, EG still claims this person has attempted to indirectly murder my daughter and intends to hog all the inheritance to himself. These included blurting out excuses like tricking her during a not fully conscious state, it's a brain tumor after all, feeding her insanitary green water during her home stay period, or even intentionally instructing the doctors to not fully treat my daughter. What makes my blood even more was that EG did not care about the fact that me and my siblings, her grandkids, are still financially dependent on my dad for our education and livelihood, and wanted my dad put in jail on charges of an inheritance scam. The details of the lawsuit and stuff is complicated, but just to give you a summary, my dad has upper hand, albeit few loopholes exist, as all the documents have been signed and the patient documents did not support any of her stupid claims. He, however, decided to settle the lawsuit in court by saying that he'll pay EG $500K US dollars in cash, allowing her to stay in that home for the rest of her life and allowing her to collect rent on one of my dad's small condos for the rest of her life also. This is on the condition that EG cut all family ties with us and never bring the issue of inheritance to court ever again. When I asked my dad why he decided to settle by giving EG money, even though EG filed a lawsuit against him without regards to his financial burden and him still having the upper hand, he simply just uttered, "Your mom loved EG very much, and I promised her I'd never hurt EG." The aftermath. The lawsuit was settled about a year ago. If you're wondering what happens after, my mom's family is a complete mess. Last I heard, EG has already burned through all the money and is now receiving death threats from her group of relatives as they want in with the share. Now she's begging to see the grandkids she loves so much. Huh? Talk about karma. Karma's like a boomerang. It goes one way, then on the way back it smacks you upside the head, and it sounds like she's in for one hell of a whack upside the noggin. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.